Hello there, this is C.M. Brown, and I'm here to talk to you today about meditation. Now, this is not a meditation itself, but it's a talk about meditation. And the reason I think this is important is because meditation is a word that's thrown around a lot, and many people practice meditation of many different forms, but very often there's a lot of confusion about what a meditation actually is. So, some people, many people in fact, see meditation as a means of self improvement, and this is the way it's promoted very often. You see it in cover of magazines like 10 ways to improve your life through meditation, it says on the cover of the magazine. Scientific studies have been done to talk about how meditation can reduce stress and increase the awareness and focus and help people to even perform their corporate jobs even better. So, this is looking at meditation in a way that sees it as a goal, so that meditation is supposed to uh, be something that you do through which you achieve a goal, and then you have the ability to perform a task better or live a more stress-free life. So focus on the goal in meditation, I believe, is an obstruction. It's a barrier. It's a great way to make your meditation practice into something very superficial and very limited, and to not be able to give yourself the opportunity to open up to the levels of awareness that you have the potential to do. So, if you want to improve yourself, if you feel that there's something wrong, then you must feel that there's something wrong with you, just by the very nature. I want to improve myself because there's something wrong with me. There's something deficient that I need to improve. There's something that I need to fix. Now, this is starting off with a way of looking at yourself in a very negative kind of way. That there's something wrong that needs to be fixed. And in this sense, it's an act of an aggression toward yourself. And this way of starting off meditation is a way to hinder you in your practice. So you're starting off, if you have this kind of attitude of it being a goal and something that you want to improve yourself with, you're starting off already with a sort of a negative perspective on this. So what about if you start off with not thinking, I'm not good enough and I need to be fixed, but if you start off your meditation with the recognition that you are fine, that you're just fine, and everything is okay. Now, this may be a little bit of a contradiction to your personal experience, because we all have these things that come up in our lives and our feelings, like jealousy and resentment and anger and greed and lust and selfishness. But I think we need to accept the fact that we are human beings, and that is something that human beings experience. And that's a perfectly natural thing to feel. Jealousy sometimes, greedy sometimes, lustful sometimes, selfish sometimes. It's just a part of being a human being. So these things are just that, they're things. Now where we get into trouble is when we misunderstand these feelings as being who you are. Like someone might say, I'm a very jealous person, or I'm a very angry person, or such and such is a very greedy person, or I'm jealous of someone. So yes, these things exist, but they're not who you are. These are things that are moving through you. Now I'll say that again because this is a very important thing to realize. That no matter what it is, whether it's joy and happiness or pain and misery, it's something that's moving through you, but that's not who you are. So joy, happiness, anger, greed, lustfulness, selfishness, anger, these are conditions, temporary conditions. Now, even though you may feel angry, you don't feel angry your entire life, every moment of your life. Maybe you have long periods of time where you're feeling angry. Or maybe anger is something that arises momentarily. But ultimately, the fact is that whatever it is, whatever this feeling is, it is going to pass. And the reason it's going to pass is because it's moving through you. So that means it's temporary. So these things come and go. So meditation is simply the experience of observing that which comes and goes. Now this is the crux of the matter right here. Meditation is really nothing more than observation, or another way to put it is witnessing. Now that is at the heart of the meditation practice. So when you recognize that you are not the sadness or the anger, you're not the happiness and the joy either, but you are the witness that is observing these things as they move through you. They're like a kind of a passing mist. And then when you recognize this, it's just kind of getting that out of the way. Recognizing that this is the fact, accepting that as a fact, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to fight against it. You don't have to fight against your negative feelings about what's going on within you. And you don't, in the same token, you don't have to try to hold on to the good things. You don't have to try to hold on to the joy and the happiness. So that is very liberating. So if you can first, before you even sit down to meditate, recognize that this is something that is a fact, it's a part of being human, and then you can just like get it out of your way. It's no longer a barrier. And then there's a freedom that comes up in which you have the opportunity to look deeper into that space through which all of these things are moving. not into the thing itself, but into the space through which it's moving. And what this is looking into the essence of who you really are. Now, in the Vedantic tradition, we refer to this as the true self, to distinguish it from the ego self. So the true self is that which is observing. The true self is that which is witnessing. It's who you really are. It's who you really are. Now, when you're quiet, when you allow yourself to be quiet and to observe yourself, the first thing you notice is your breath. Now, we don't usually notice the breath, but when you're quiet, you begin to notice the breath. And you begin to notice how it feels when you inhale, and how it feels when you exhale. So you take this as a point of focus, a point of concentration. Not concentration like frowning, I gotta concentrate on this, but just looking at it. Observing each inhaling breath. Where does the breath touch the body when you inhale? Where does the breath touch the body when you exhale? How does the inhaling breath affect the body with the inhalation and the exhalation? And then you experience something very deep, this internal and external feeling. So you feel the internalness of the breath coming in and the externalness of the breath flowing out. And feeling your breath, feeling this in and out rhythmic experience of yourself, is experiencing yourself as being alive. And realizing that this is not practice for something else, this life. This life is the precious experience that you have been given to recognize who you really are, the true self. And you become more open to receive everything that arises and everything that falls away. You receive them into you. You notice them as they come in. You notice the anger. You notice the joy. You notice the jealousy. You notice the panoply of emotional and mental and physical experiences that are endlessly, constantly moving through you. And there's no need to get captured by those things. Because that's what we do, we allow ourselves to get captured by our anger. We allow ourselves to get captured by these emotional and mental states that we get ourselves into. And then we are a captive. So what we are doing when we're meditating is liberating ourselves from that captivity. There's no need to grasp. There's no need to attempt to hold on to anything. And when you're not holding on, when you're not attempting to grasp, there is a realization that comes to you that the essence of this self, this true self, is emptiness. Emptiness. Now we Western people think of emptiness as being a negative thing, like someone might say, oh, I just feel so empty. It's akin to saying, I feel such despair. I feel no hope. Why go on? There's nothing but emptiness. But that's not what I'm talking about. That despair, that hopelessness, is a state. The emptiness is the space through which it passes. So you begin, in a sense, to look at your own life as you move through your everyday activities, almost as if it would be that you were looking at a movie, that you yourself, the ego self, that's experiencing all of these emotional and mental things that are going on, is like a character in this movie. So that's okay. So many people say to me when I'm teaching meditation, well, you know, I can't stop thinking. When am I going to be able to get to the point in my meditation when I stop thinking? Now that in itself, as I said in the beginning, is a goal. My goal in meditation is to stop thinking. Now if you don't stop thinking after sitting for 2 or 3 sessions, then you say, well, forget this. It's not going to help me to stop thinking. But you don't need to stop thinking. You don't need to stop feeling. You think, you feel, but you're not taking it seriously. You're letting it move through you, move through you, move through you, move through you. So there's no progress. There's no need to think of it as something in which you need to progress. There's no need to think of it as something in which you are trying to get better at. Because the fact is you're better already. So you don't need to progress. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not insufficient or deficient, or you're not something that needs to be fixed. You recognize that it is a moment that's coming up. Here it is. I feel that familiar old depression. Okay, let's just see what that's like, you say in your meditation. Let's observe this meditation. Allow me to just feel what it really feels like to be depressed and not try to get rid of it. And you notice all the physical and emotional interactions that are happening during this feeling of depression. And then the next moment comes. And in that next moment, there's something very different. There's a different feeling. There's a different emotion. There's a different thought. So you're just giving into it. There's no need to resist. We spend so much of our everyday lives in a state of resistance. Resisting ourselves, resisting our own natural way of being, resisting our animalness, resisting our humanness, which is the same thing. There's no difference. Human is just one form of animal. So just like a dog starts barking, or deer feels fear and runs away, we're the same way. No difference. But the difference is in the meditation. You're just watching it. You're just allowing yourself to be free enough to just sit back and watch the show of your life and watch what comes and goes. And this essence of you, this true self, really is not invested in you. It doesn't care about you even. You are an animal, a human animal that it's living in, so that it can be entertained and experience itself. So when you stop resisting, there's nothing left. There's no effort. It just happens. You simply fall into this awareness of the observer, the witness, the true self. If you can take 3 words and remember these 3 words, whether you're meditating or whether you're going through your everyday life or whether you're going through, have a tremendously happy and joyful time in your life, or whether you're going through a miserable and painful time in your life, to just say these 3 words: let it happen. Let it happen. Now this can even be a mantra. Now we think of mantras as being like Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti. But can't let it happen be a mantra also? Suppose you were to wake up every morning. You sit up in bed You look around the walls of your bedroom and out the window. You look at your body. You feel whether you're warm or whether you're cold or whatever it is that's happening. You say to yourself, ah, let it happen. Let it happen. Let it happen. Let it happen. You get a flat tire? Let it happen. Let it happen. Now I'm wondering if this is something that you can allow yourself to say, and not just say, but to truly experience. To allow your life to happen. Not try to be a director of your life. Not investing all of your energy in willfulness. Not trying to make it happen, but to let it happen. Let it happen. And this is the crux of meditation. When you sit down to meditate, or if you're engaging in a walking meditation, or a lying down meditation, if you can say to yourself, I have no goals. I'm not trying to make myself better. I'm just going to sit back and let this meditation happen. I'm going to sit back and allow this meditation to happen. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to move through my everyday life and let it happen. Now I can tell you, 100% guarantee if you can allow let it happen to be your mantra, then your life will be much richer. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the richness of existence itself. And your life will be much more fulfilling. Namaste.